tell you what's going on here now. To start off with, I'll just begin with this. My old friend up there in Maine, my old friend R. Peak up there, he's quite a cinematographer. I mean, it's almost magical the work that he does with his camera. I mean, he's got this thing. He don't even use a tripod anymore. He has perfected his cinematography to the point where he can use a monopod, and I still have to use a tripod on. I ain't figured out how to have that monopod hold my camera up and take pictures of stuff while I'm using both hands, and I don't know how he's done it, but he's somehow perfected it. But he's an amazing fella anyway. Now, if it was him doing this, he'd probably throw a thermostat in here, you know, to boil up with this.
I would say that's closed. Boil it some more. La, 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 la.
But what I got going here is I have combined in a saucepan 2 cups of sugar, a stick of butter, and a half a cup of milk, and about 3 tablespoons of cocoa, because that's all I had, and I wish I had more. Some recipes will call for 3 tablespoons of cocoa, and some will call for as much as a half a cup. But with 2 scant cups of sugar, I'm hoping to get away with my 3 tablespoons of cocoa, because after all, like I said, some recipes do call for that. But now the next step, what we're going to do in this procedure is, the next step is to bring this mixture. You can see it all starting to melt down there, and let me pick up my tripodal unit here. And anyway, she's starting to melt down. When I get that all melted down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that mixture up to a rolling boil, which is just about there. And I'm going to continue to stir this, but I'm going to hold her up there at about 4,000 RPMs, so I get this continuous rolling boil like that right there. That's a rolling boil. So we're going to hold her up about 4,000 RPMs, 3,800 to 4,000 RPM to keep that rolling boil going. We're going to do that for 1 minute. And since I brought her up to speed here, I'm going to set my timer, and we're going to do this for 1 minute. Now, some recipes will say you need to do this for a minute. Some of them say you need to do it for 5 minutes, and I ain't quite sure which one is going to work out. Maybe some of you bakers or cookers or the DGG could tell me maybe what's going to make this work best, because I have had my no-bake oatmeal chocolate cookies. I've made batches of them before where you lay them out on the wax paper, and they never do harden up. You know, they just kind of stay kind of chewy, and never do get hard and peel off the wax paper. And I'm not sure if cooking this a little bit longer than a minute will cure that problem or not. I just don't know. Or cooking it less. But anyway, so like I said, some say a minute, some say 5. So I'm gonna run her there, that rolling boil. Okay, my timer's gone off, so I'm gonna go ahead and back down the RPMs now on this, and let her come back down to an idle. And then next thing I'm gonna do is I'm fixing to, as my friend Presto Dan would say, I'm fixing to put me some rolled oats in here, and I'm fixing to use about 3 cups in there, maybe 3.5. We're gonna see how it goes there when we get this all stirred up, and see if it's thick enough and whatnot. And that's a pretty heavy cupful there, so but put in another. Next one will be a little scant until I find out just exactly what's going on. And I'm also going to throw in there now, and let me done told you what, I guarantee it is going to be some good stuff. Just don't know if it's going to set up real good or not, but we'll find out. Anyway, you have the option of also putting a half cup of peanut butter in there, but I never did care for the peanut butter all that much. I just tend to kind of like to have them all chocolatey. And these are some cookies that my mama used to make, and they were just my favorite, my most favoritist thing when I was young. So I'm also going to have, what we got here? We got a teaspoon. I'm going to throw in a couple of teaspoons of vanilla. Now, you can use almond extract, and you can use a little less. You can use probably one teaspoon instead of 2. But since it's vanilla, go ahead and get that full teaspoon in there. There we go. Yeah. Since it's vanilla, I'm gonna use 2 teaspoons, and you want to put your vanilla in last because if you do it whilst it's boiling, it'll just boil the vanilla out, and so it'll just dissipate out. It won't do you no good. You won't get that kick, see, that you need to get out of that vanilla. So you put that in later after the boiling is all done. When that rolling's done and you back your RPMs back down to an idle, and then you can put in your vanilla. And that's as far as consistency, you know. It might still be it might be a little bit runny, but I think what I'm gonna do instead of putting any more oatmeal in there, I think I'm gonna go another route. No, this is not. My mama didn't do this when she was making her no-bake oatmeal cookies, but I have tried this in later years, and I tend to kind of like it. So, what I'm going to do is throw in a cupful, or just about a cupful, of coconut, and mix that all up in there too, on account of what I like coconut. And I don't know if that's going to help hold them together, or if it's going to tear them apart. And some recipes say that the peanut butter will help hold them together, and I don't doubt that to be true. I'm sure that is true. But my mama never did use peanut butter, and I don't care for them all that much. I mean, I like it, but just not in these particular cookies. So, another thing you can do, and I might do in the next batch, I'm not going to do it in this one, but you can throw in some chopped nuts in there, and that'll make it just dandy also. But that's what you come up with. And then you take that over here, and you got your wax paper laid out here, see? And you start throwing these little buggers out here on the wax paper, something like that. This ain't no big deal, you know. And I can tell that I'm light on my chocolate. I would like to have at least another tablespoon of chocolate in there. But you know, sometimes you just kind of gotta make do with the best you can. My daughter was telling me on the phone the other night how her little son's five and a half, and they decided to make some of these. Well, he didn't know what they was gonna make. She just said, we're gonna make some cookies. So he goes into the kitchen. He started dragging out measuring cups. He said, I'm gonna need to measure some stuff, and he gets a melon baller, and he decides he's gonna probably need that too. And he starts grabbing sugar. We're gonna need some sugar, he said. And she said, well, Dale, I think we need to get a recipe. And he goes, nah, we just make our own recipe, Mom. And you know, he's a man after my own heart, because that's kind of how I like to do things too. But anyway, there was little drops and pieces falling around kind of like this, and he got to eat them, you know, those little pieces that fell outside the boundaries of the cookie here. He got to pick them up and nibble them, and she told him that that's kind of how God does with our mistakes. He just takes them and makes something good out of them, and so then we just go on from there and learn something and keep moving. But she also said that she figures that a good mom will let kid lick the beaters out of the mixer, you know. And, but she said a great mom will turn the mixer off first. So I guess she's a great mom. I think she is. I'm awful proud of my kids, all of them. Some of them don't know it, but I am. Try to let them know that. Anyway, yeah, they do a fine job. Well, that's what we got here. We got us some chocolate oatmeal no-bake cookies, and I've been studying up a little bit. And you can use quick oats, or you can use the old-fashioned oats, and it don't matter. But I just kind of suspect that back in the mid to late 50s, that my mama was probably not using the quick oats to make these cookies that I loved so much. So I'm running with the old-fashioned ones this time, and you know, there's a few little ones in there, and there's a few bigger ones in there, and You know, I spooned them out kind of big because it's supposed to make more than that. One batch is supposed to be more than that. But we're going to see if them harden up. Like I said, I've had that fail in the past and they just kind of stay chewy and you just have to kind of eat them with a spoon. But it's all good. Alright, there you go. Chocolate oatmeal, no bake cookies.